Top Thrill 2 recently opened at Cedar Point, or should I say recently reopened. I know everybody knows the whole deal about this coaster. The once world's tallest roller coaster shut down a few years back following a major accident, but got fully reimagined by a completely different manufacturer into what we now know as Top Thrill 2. I know the opening of this coaster hasn't been perfect by any means. In fact, it's probably a lot closer to it going awfully than it going perfectly. However, Cedar Point has handled everything about this coaster, from the accident until today, absolutely perfectly, providing a lesson that every park could put into their back pocket for their next investments going forward. To start off, a lot of these points may seem obvious, however, I've seen it time and time again where parks do not give coasters their full potential in terms of investment, marketing, or anything surrounding the coaster, and Cedar Point nailed it perfectly. So without further ado, let's get into my fairly short list that could help out parks all around the world. To start off with the accident, obviously amusement park accidents shouldn't happen, but unfortunately they do. However, Cedar Point handled it perfectly. Apparently, Cedar Point and the victim came to an out-of-court settlement, and they kept the coaster closed for a very long time, more than enough time for anticipation to build about the replacement, but also enough time for the coaster to cool down after everything that had happened. In that downtime, Cedar Point would make numerous announcements. First, that Top Thrill Dragster would be retired in its current form to make way for something different. Next, the Top Thrill Dragster would be reimagined by Zamperla into a coaster that would be both very similar and very different at the same time, looking and feeling sort of similar to the original, but providing a completely different experience for guests. Teasers would be put up all around the park and on social media as Cedar Point would let the public know of their new CP Racing. This would be the new division of racing at Cedar Point, taking the coaster away from its old drag racing theme into its new F1 racing theme, and that would fit the coaster very well, especially considering the new dynamic of the ride. The coaster would also be repainted fully from red, yellow, and white to a dark gray, silver, red combination, keeping the red striping along the track going. However, it looks a lot better. The area around the coaster has become super futuristic looking with a lot of dynamic buildings and blues added to spice up the area. So moving on from what Cedar Point did, how was the actual ride experience? And to nobody's surprise, apparently it's really good. Everybody that's gotten around to ride Top Thrill Dragster has had an absolute blast. It goes back and forth, there's a consistent debate on whether it's better than the original, but no matter which way you look at it, Top Thrill 2 is an objectively good roller coaster. It's also fair to say that Cedar Point has absolutely killed marketing this coaster. I think just about everybody knows that it's just a redo of the original Top Thrill Dragster, but the way that it's been advertised and showcased, I think everybody who rode the original also wants to ride this, as it's a completely new experience, and Cedar Point is making everybody aware of that. It's not just a little gimmick, this is a completely new roller coaster, and that is going to have millions of people driving and flying to Cedar Point just to check this out in particular. To wrap things up, what did Cedar Point do well with the unveiling of this roller coaster? First, they did not sweep the accident under the rug, they worked things out with the victim and got everything moving on. Next, the coaster was closed for an extended amount of time, but they never left us wondering what would happen. They gave us consistent information drops from time to time to keep everybody interested in this coaster. They also would completely change up the ride system and experience, make the coaster look a whole lot nicer, and redo the area around it and give it a whole new name, and advertise it as a brand new experience on an already loved roller coaster, and I think they did all of that perfectly. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are on Top Thrill 2 in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like rating, and subscribe if you're new here for more videos coming every single week on Hangtime Thrills. I'll catch you guys next time.